Creative Cranium. We got a special episode tonight. We're going to be talking about the Four-State Comic-Con. Pretty excited to welcome my guests. Before I do so, though, I want to mention tonight's episode is sponsored by the Mighty Caw, the Cro-Magnon. This is the new title from Fish Lee. It's in pre-launch right now over on Kickstarter. I strongly recommend that you go over and check this one out. Number one, Fish is a heck of a cool guy. I love that guy. And he has these characters nailed down in this sort of bizarre sci-fi fantasy world. That's the Mighty Caw, the Cro-Magnon, in pre-launch right now. Call to action. Go on over and check it out. But without further delay, please welcome Nick Davis and Jason So. Welcome, guys.
What up? Thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
Yeah, man, we're pretty excited about the convention. Pretty excited, right?
Oh, yeah.
So let me ask you guys,
Absolutely.
This is kind of like a big deal for us, right? What is the first thing that you're looking forward to at the convention?
Oh,
Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, thanks for putting the spot there, Jason, where you're basically taking a time to. I mean, your thoughts
go.
there. Do it, Mike. Why didn't you go? And now basically I'll totally copy you.
Well,
So-
I'll tell you, man, the first thing I'm looking forward to is I have met a couple of great friends by attending the Harrisburg Comic-Con, which is the sister convention to this one. And I stumbled across Nick Davis and Jason and also Ken Hunt, who will not be with us this year. But, you know, I get a big charge out of meeting creators, and it's something that sort of helps me get my juices going to make projects. I like to see what other people are making. And, you know, I'm a fan of you guys' work. I've been looking at it and, you know, we got a broad range of things we're making. So what's new in the world of Nick Davis? What is the new project that you can tell us about, Nick?
Oh my gosh! Well, that's actually kind of interesting thing. I've actually answered two questions in one here. The first bit basically is what I'm looking forward to, as I always look for every convention I go to, is seeing the creative buzz going on in Artist Alley. I always have a quick wander down there and check out what's coming, what's up and coming, and any cool, interesting books are coming up. It's always an exciting thing to basically check out. But what is new in my world? Well, Let's Hunt Monsters, as you can see on the screen just there. I'm going to pull my book out from behind here. This is Let's Hunt Monsters. It's the tale of a teddy bear who hunts monsters for money. Unfortunately, he's on his latest monster hunting gig goes horribly awry. And he ends up basically having to take on some monsters out and uncovers a bit of a deep, dark secret. So if you're a fan of Teenage Ninja Turtles or anything with 2000 AD, that's my homeland comic books, or even the Turtle books, Usagi Yojimbo, or anything like that, or even a little bit of Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty. This is the book for you to check out here.
Yeah, it looks good, man. And is that an homage cover you got there?
I'm not sure if it's a homage.
Okay.
Cover this is pretty much I saw an image in my head of a teddy bear leaping towards a Cthulhu type creature. I'm pretty certain you've probably seen this it's probably been covered in quite a few other comic books. I do have a couple of homage covers coming, and basically a whole lot of variant covers, as you can see from back here, which a lot of them are homages to various different covers, including the X-Men thing here, which is the Days of Future Past, and a nice Usagi Yojimbo type tribute at the top there, and a great cover by a friend of mine called Brock, who will be there actually at the show. This is his tribute to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. With my finger close at the point, and it just said B-Rock. And of course, there's other bits and pieces there. So this is actually a fun little comic book. Great for basically while away your time and start of a new set of books I'm going to be working on throughout the year. But no, I'm looking forward to being at Four-State as well. I'm looking forward to basically being. I think I'm next to you, Tim, this year. And
I think
Jason
we're going to
as well.
be neighbors. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
We're going to be con neighbors. I think Jason's. I think I'm in the middle of you two. So I'm like the sandwich.
Oh, you're the meat in the sandwich.
Yes, which sounded better in my head. Now I'm saying it out loud, doesn't sound that good. So
it's going to be so much better than you anticipated. Trust me.
Like a creamy Oreo.
It will be. We're going to add extra sauce to you, Nick.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I have no idea what you're talking about, and I'm English and I'm cultured, and I don't know these things, old chap.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we're talking about the Four-State Comic-Con. That's going to be Saturday and Sunday, the 27th and 28th. You guys have probably noticed I'm terrible with dates. But the short version is it's this weekend, and this is one of the highly regarded conventions on the East Coast. Great things for collectors. We're going to have comics, toys, art, collectibles. It's over 50,000 square feet. And, of course, we're going to have some cosplayers, too. Quick question for Jason. Jason, are you a cosplay fan at all?
Yeah, to some degree. I like the artistry in it and stuff like that. So I enjoy it. Like, I don't cosplay, but I can appreciate what they do.
Gotcha. If you were going to cosplay, what character would you pick?
Ooh, that's a cool question. I would build something rad, man. I would use 3D printers and I would build like some like Fallout 4 armor or just
Oh,
something really
dude,
cool.
you took my pick. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, and I don't mean to step on your answer, but I'm
No, cool.
overexcited. When I was in Baltimore in 2022, there was a fella who was he was one of the like the Fallout New Vegas guy, and he was carrying this huge gun, and he was had the New Republic flag with the
Nice.
bear on it. Yeah, and he even had a like a boombox strapped to his back, and it was playing 1940s era swing music, same as in Fallout, you know.
Perfect. Perfect.
And I saw the guy, and I said, "Man!" And of course, you got to get a picture with somebody like that.
Of course.
I turned to my son and I said, "You know, man, if I was going to do cosplay, I'd want to do that right there." So let's show some love for the cosplayers. Hope to see you at the Four State Comic Con. So, Jason, you got some big news coming up, man. I am excited for the release of your next book. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Oh yeah, it is Major Tom versus the Spiders from Mars. And this is a 50-page full color one shot. And as you guys know, these big one shot graphic novels, they're labors of love. So I've worked on it for almost 2 years, and it's super exciting that it's going to be premiering at Four State Comic Con. But I have something really cool too to go with this. So
Absolutely. Hold on, coming right up.
oh yeah,
Oh
the
yeah.
the first 50 people who buy a book get one of these articulated spiders, and they're just fantastic and they're adorable. And
That is so cool.
I hope people love them. I thought it was cool to give the fans something a little more than they anticipated, right? So most people just expect a book and a autograph and a how you do and see you later. I wanted to make the Four State a little bit more special and give them something a little bit more.
I think that's a terrific idea, man. I can tell you, I look at this and it's something that I would be interested in. And we were sort of talking a little bit backstage about how, is it true? All three of us are Kickstarter creators, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yes,
So
definitely.
it's harder than ever, right, to think of what cool merch would be for the backers. And by the way, I'm in that boat right there with you, because it's difficult to find a product that will tie in to support and enhance the brand rather than distract from the brand. And Jason, you nailed it with this Spider-Man.
The
This
little
goes
spiders
right,
from Mars.
yeah, it goes right in with your brand. It's amazing, and I dig the colors too.
Yeah, it's the color of the spiders from Mars in the book. So without giving too much away, let's see if I can find
Hold on,
one.
I'm going to give you a solo layout. Go for it, brother. All you.
Right there, you can see there's a bunch of red and blue spiders.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it sort of goes with it all.
That's super cool, man. And I've been following your book a little bit, and the colors are just insane. Who is doing the colors on your book?
Cristiano Cruz, and he's fantastic. So I gave him like sort of direction, right? I told him I wanted that saturated 80s vibe. Remember, everything was just neon and bright
Extreme,
and
yeah.
crazy. Yeah, and in your face. So what we did with the book was we sort of walked it through a transition, if you will, and just made it as vivid and dynamic as possible. Like oversaturation, there was no such thing in this book.
It's striking. It's striking. I definitely noticed it. I'm really looking forward to it. That's one of the things on my list, is to check out both of the new books from you guys. So do you mind if I ask you, Jason, what type of inventory, like how many copies are you going to bring to the convention?
I think I'm going to bring around 200 to 250. I don't think I'll actually sell that many.
Yeah, that's what I bring too.
But I don't know if I'm going to bring many more of my other titles, just because I want to, you know what I mean? I want to focus on Major Tom as opposed to Necroman and Invisible and some of the other, and Jim Bob John, some other stuff that I've done. I don't know. That's a tough mix up though. Do you bring everything? Because sometimes you have something for everyone, or do you just focus in like a laser beam, focus in on one book? I don't know. We'll see.
That's a great question. I struggle with that too.
Well, it's a tough one. I actually do agree. So where do you go? Do you focus on just the one thing, or do you just basically go all out and show everything because you want to basically hit as many areas as you can? I say that all I can really recommend from my years experience is just make a big thing out of your big thing. So when your new thing is out, make a big thing out of it. Have some of the other titles knocking back here and there, because for example, nobody's going to like Let's Hunt Monsters, but they may just like my Night Guardians book instead. So it's always a case of basically push your customer, not push your customer, but basically guide your customer around and go, hey, I know Let's Hunt Monsters may not be quite your thing, and maybe your kid's not quite that sort of stuff, but they may like Night Guardians because it's like a fully self-contained fantasy, like the Amulet. And you can usually hook them that way. But I think your Spiders and Mars, Jason. Yeah,
you sold me. Now I'm gonna bring a little bit of everything, Nick. I'm going to.
Yeah, but make a big thing out Spiders and Mars, because I'm pretty certain that's gonna go like basically red hot chestnuts. So that should be pretty cool. So
I hope
plus, if you get the
stonkers.
Totally stonkers. If you can get like a loop, David Bowie Spiders and Mars type music in the background, a little Mars thing, or Major Tom, I think you're going to basically get people going, what's that music over there? And basically pulling that way. And by the end of the day, I'll be going, I'm sitting next to the guy who's got David Bowie Space Oddity on loop next to me. There's going to be a murder. So. I wouldn't do that. I've been to a convention before where somebody had like really loud music, and it was just really irritating. And like you said, it was like this loop thing, and I'd never heard the song, but by the end of the convention, I started to know it, and I think that pissed me off more than the song itself, because I'm like, this is against my will. Yeah, actually recommend it. One of the big things I say every convention to everybody is always be considerate to your convention neighbor. You're next to them all weekend. They're having this high stress weekend like you're having high stress weekend. So be nice and stuff. So always be gentle. So
I call you guys battle buddies.
Actually, I'm thinking about Harrisburg. I was between you guys last time as well. Hang on, there's a pattern here. Oh,
that was actually the first time I'd met you guys. And, I thought the guys who are running this convention, I thought they did a heck of a good job.
They always do.
Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts. And that was my first one. I know Andrew a little bit. He might be joining us on the air. But how did you guys get lined up to the convention?
Hold on. Guys, time out. If Andrew hops on for any reason, we have to do something. We have to ask him if we can buy tickets at the door.
Will that drive him bananas?
Okay.
Oh, it will. It will. He'll probably hang up. He'll probably flick us off. He'll probably threaten to punch us in person, because everybody.
He's pretty big. He's bigger than me. I don't know if I'll do that. Yeah. What the hell? Wait. I just hide behind you, Jason. So
okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to touch on one of the cool things that Nick does, and actually we've been together a couple of times too, because we've been to Baltimore a few times each. Mm-hmm. And I'm always impressed by it. You also do this thing that shows people how to make art and how to make comics, and it's sort of like an all ages thing, right? Like can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Well, yes, that's actually a workshop I run at some conventions. Unfortunately, I won't be running at this convention. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, where we basically talk about how to do the basics of drawing. And the very basics of drawing, and I'm pretty certain we've all gone the same route, is we've always tried very hard to draw the thing, but really we should be drawing the shape. And once we break a thing down into a shape, it becomes a lot easier to draw. For example, my teddy bear is just basically two circles balanced on top of each other. Major Tom is looking at me as a rectangle on top of a triangle, in terms of basically how all the bodies work. So when I do the workshops, I should normally do a group called the Kids Love Comics, which I will be with at Tidewater this year. We sit there for like 30-40 minutes and basically walk through how to basically break a character down into shapes. And I stand there and draw a character with shapes, triangles, circles, and squares, and to show that basically you can build characters and anything out of a shape. And I encourage the kids to look around and look at everything and break everything out of shapes and draw. That's how I learned to draw. At this convention, I'm going to be going through a slightly different panel. Just after Jason's debut panel for his Major Tom book, and I'll be talking about how you can make comic books on a shoestring budget. So all the basic primer of how you can make a comic book with like pennies, literally pennies. So I'm gonna be working at Fourth State. But it's a lot of fun to do these panels, and I thoroughly enjoy doing them. So as I'm coming on the back end of Jason's stuff, so there's gonna be nobody there. So
it'll be awesome.
Yeah, I think I did volunteer to do a panel on Sunday, so we'll see. They had a cancellation, so I jumped in. I don't know if I was in time.
What do you think about doing, Tim?
Typically what I do is Kickstarter tips for creators, and I go through the marketing things that work. And most importantly, I go through all the ones that don't work, because most of the things that I've learned by doing it wrong the first time. I like to
Agreed.
put out some kind of illusion like I'm a smart fella, but I'm not. I'm telling you, I've made every mistake on the way.
Twice.
We all
I've made
have.
every
We
mistake
we, we
twice.
all have. You
Yeah.
know, we all walk in definitions of insanity. We keep repeating the same thing and hoping for a better result. It never quite works out that way. So,
Yeah, I always give one tip for free, and I'll give you this when people say, hey, I'm on Facebook and I'm on Twitter and all these, how do I make my book? And how do I do this? And what should I do? And they're asking all these questions. Step one is step away from the social media, put that thing down and make your book, because there's nothing stopping you. Make the book, man. It doesn't matter what everybody says on social media. Make your book.
Yeah.
Yep. You're not going to sell. You can't sell anything. You can't put anything on Kickstarter if you don't make it in the very first place. That's that,
Yeah.
and that's actually one of the hardest bits. The second hardest bit of basically any comic book creation is trying to sell a comic book after you've made it. So,
I'll give you a quick preview. Here's our new one, which is going to be coming out in November. This is the 5th issue for fans of Blade Runner, and if you like androids being chased by Western-style bounty hunters, this is the one for you. That's volume 5. That's coming out pretty soon.
It's pretty
Probably
rad.
not.
Your covers are always sick, Tim.
Yeah, thanks.
They're always-
It's like all things, you're trying to get people to notice it, right?
Yeah, grab them.
Yeah, and it's as I'm fond of saying, that's something we do at the convention. It's not always about dollars. Obviously, we want the dollars, but really the method is notice it. I sometimes, how do I want to say this? I used to be in sales a long time, and there's a difference between what I call a sales pitch, which is necessary, and there's the other thing, which is what I call elements of discovery. I use music as the example. If somebody told you 10 times about a band, it might not click. But when you hear it on yourself and you go, hey, what's that? I like that. You'll go right to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to put out sort of like a hook in the effort to try to bait your customer. I don't mean that, it sounds kind of negative like that, but put your best foot forward. Just notice it. That's really all we're asking, right?
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
the math of a sale. You know what I mean? It really adds up.
Yeah. Well, and in your case, you guys are both pretty personable people. I talk to a lot of comic creators, and as you know, not everybody is comfortable talking in front of crowds and this type of thing. It's one of the artistic personality traits is that they might be more reserved. Neither one of you guys is very reserved, though. You're both very gregarious. Nick, where did you pick this up, this personality where you're so outgoing and kind of humorous?
Yeah, I'm the total opposite of what you expect an Englishman to be. Bizarrely enough, in a former life, back in the wee teens, I used to work. I lived in a town called Mount Moby, and I was born there. And Mount Moby is a market town, so that every Saturday they had a fruit and veg market, similar to what you probably call farmers markets over here. And my first ever job was selling fruit and veg at a market store here. So I was pretty much tipped in at the deep end, where I had a shout there like, "Get your potatoes, £2 a pound," and that sort of thing. So and it's pretty much stuck since then. And if you can't talk about, you have to. If you can't talk about, nobody else is going to talk about your product. You have to basically talk about your own product. So if you can't do it, nobody else is going to do it for you. And I always find it easy to basically just keep talking and nonsense come out, because I have an English accent and people think I'm automatically smart by 20% anyway. So
right. I thought that when I met you.
He's like, he's really smart, and 2 adventures later, he's actually kind of dumb, isn't he?
No, you brought our podcast level up by 20%. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh yes, I by 20%, but we're almost at the 20-minute mark now. So basically, that 20% dropped off. So
you're up. Yeah, you just keep going.
So Jason, how about you? Where did you get your start, Jason?
In comic books?
Yeah, but also like I want to hear how your personality developed into, being a pitch man kind of.
I was a bartender for quite a while, so just talking to people I was talking to so many different people that I sort of lost the fear of talking to anybody. I can talk to anybody about damn near anything, right? Like nothing is going to be roughing me up. I'm not going to stumble on really anything. You can say anything to me and it's just going to bounce right off of me. And I think the moment you stop like giving a shit about, like, am I going to mess up talking? Because the answer is yes, you are going to. You can just talk to people and it's more natural. And then when you're at conventions, if now I've seen a couple people operate, but if you go at a fan more like somebody just talking to them. It's easier to make the sale than it is being a pitch man and just hammering a pitch all day long, because I've been at a convention where this dude just pitched it and it was the same pitch and I almost knew his pitch by the end of it.
Yeah,
there's more.
Yeah,
a good entry point, I usually say, one of the things you get at comic conventions, you find a lot of people that are very passionate about what they are into. You know, maybe it's comics, maybe it's Game of Thrones, maybe it's cosplay, but you can always start with, hey man, cool shirt, or whatever they have there, right? And most people will say right there, oh, hey, do you like Usagi Jimbo? Do you like Iron Maiden? Whatever it happens to be. And you start the conversation, right? Me personally, I recommend not going into the sales pitch right away. If you have the time, admittedly, sometimes we don't have the time, but if you have the time, try to make the friend and then ask for the sale. Because if they like you, the people will be more inclined to purchase your product, you know?
Oh,
True.
I absolutely agree. We are selling ourselves more on our product, which is a very definite. And when the people are coming into the convention, they're already overstimulated anyway, and there's going to be a whole rack of people shouting at them all at the same time. So I always do my best to say, hi, how you doing? Are you enjoying the convention? And then basically slowly build my way towards going, hey, check out my really cool comic book. I think you might enjoy this. So, it's a thing, if you don't talk to them like they're normal people, they're just going to run away. Because I'm going to be absolutely fair and honest. We're dealing with folk that buy comic books. Not all of them are basically the most extroverted people in the world, and they go, "Oh my God, somebody's talking to me! Go away! I want to be left alone so I can look through my this long box under the table and be left alone for 30 minutes." So it's a thing. You just got to be nice. So selling yourself is legal.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Oh, awesome.
And thanks for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate you guys coming to watch the show. Of course, we are talking about this weekend is going to be the 4 State Comic-Con. That's Saturday and Sunday. Please come and visit me, Nick, and Jason. We got some great stuff to show you guys, and there's going to be tons of comics, art, collectibles, cosplay, everything that will bring excitement into your life. So please stop by and visit us. And for those of us that come up to our booths, if you visit all 3 of us, I got a little bit of a free gift that I will give you. Just for coming by to say hello, because I'm a big-hearted fella. You guys all look, we're all comic book makers, so we're all incredibly wealthy already.
Yes, totally.
I'm not in this for the money, just the satisfaction of the fans. That's the reason why I'm in.
Well, can I ask you guys a question, man? Like,
yeah, man, go ahead.
So clearly we're not all making millions of dollars on our IPs. We're, with or without any of the fans or any of the whatever comes with making books, you guys would probably still be doing books.
Right. I'm glad you asked that, Jason. Usually I'm asking the questions, but I'd love to answer that. When I made my first 3 books, I didn't know about Kickstarter yet. I was making the books and taking them to conventions and giving them away, trying to get noticed.
Whoa.
All right. That was before I even had a table. Back in those days, and by the way, maybe some of you guys remember this book. It was called Socket. It's America's first all-robot rock band. And they solve crimes and stuff. But I would fill up my backpack.
I want to read it now.
Yeah, it's actually not bad, but just between us, that was my title that didn't click, right? As some of you guys may know, my background is not really filled with success stories. It's filled with failure stories, but then I learned how to get just a little better each time. So by the time this is what we just released, our 11th one, right? Yeah, sketchy guy. Come on, man. I know you're a millionaire too.
I'm just saying though, you were giving out your books. Instead of calling you Earth Dog Studios, we should call you Raw Dog Studios, because man, you were just out there just blasting it. Good for you.
Well, yeah, and you know what? I met some really cool people, and it's how because when you're a new comic creator, this is one man's opinion. It's really hard to get noticed. I did, at the time, I didn't have a podcast. And I didn't have cool pals like you guys, so I couldn't get noticed. So I would just walk to all the publishers, and I submit to every publisher. And
you're a writer though, right, Tim?
Right, I'm a writer.
Okay, so it's a little different for artists and writers.
Yeah, That's for sure. That's for sure. And admittedly, the writer's the least interesting guy, right? Martha, yes. If you like Compressor Head, That's exactly what Socket was like. It was like they had their own songs and stuff, but it was also I don't know if you're familiar with the Saturday morning cartoon shows, the way they used
Josie
to
and
do.
the Pussycats.
Yeah, like the episode would be they would solve a crime and then they would like sing a song at the end.
They'd
And it
rock
was
out with their bullets out.
rock out with their bolts out. Yeah. And it was stuff like they're fighting monsters on the moon and like nobody was in any real
Rust.
danger.
They were fighting Rust.
They were fighting Rust. They were fighting. I'm going to show you guys now because I think you might like it. I had a couple of good artists, but
I want to see this book. I want to see this book too.
Yeah.
You better bring this book to 4th State. I want to see it, man. So.
I'll bring it. Unfortunately, that was not my one that took off necessarily. It was when we made the first issue of Water Wars, and people started to go, "Oh, this is good," and then that's been going ever since. I'm sorry, but we retired Socket. The sales just weren't there to. It's like if you're a band, right? You go up on stage and you play a bunch of Leonard Skinner songs. People go, "Man, I don't like Leonard Skinner. Play something different." And let's say you play a Metallica song and everybody loves it. Guess what? The whole rest of the night you're going to play Metallica songs.
True.
Yeah, Sketchy Guy, I don't know if I would recommend my approach. I wouldn't say it was the most successful one, but I gave away an awful lot of free books.
Don't raw dog, dude. Whoever this, don't raw dog. Like, don't.
Well, and at the end of the day, it's also about meeting people, right?
Yes.
Which, so much of it is about networking and, finding the cool folks like we've got tonight on our podcast, Nick Davis and Jason So, both of them releasing awesome new products. This is going to be this weekend. If you're just tuning in, that's the 4th State Comic-Con. That's Saturday and Sunday, the 27th and 28th. Got to recommend this convention. 50,000 feet of celebrities, comics, toys, art, collectibles. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. It's going to be a good time. So what do you think of our commercial so far? You think I'm going to get us some customers?
Well, maybe so. Who knows? But no, it's you're talking about basically, would we be doing this thing if you're basically getting people to buy our books? I think, but having people having our products and seeing our products is definitely a major motivator. I very much like you, Tim. I started off writing. I used to work for a company called Games Workshop. I used to work in a White Dwarf magazine. Way back in the day, about 20 years back in my history. So basically, I got a bug to basically write stuff, and I actually wrote a couple of novels before I actually even came in there doing actual sequential stuff. But I always wanted to do a comic book of my own, and it was, can I do it? Can I do it? I don't know if I could do it, and I would have definitely made a couple of books just to see if I could actually do it. Whether or not to be successful or sell will be a different matter, because back in the day I was actually inspired by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which totally blew my mind. It's like, this is a comic book these guys did by themselves, and it doesn't conform to any of the rules, and it kind of reminds, and it's a little bit like it's hard to explain if you've seen any UK books. Like I'm sure you guys have read like 2000 ADs and seen those.
Yes.
But there's a cipher of books in the UK which never made it over here, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pretty much reminded me of that sort of book. It was a book, because superheroes are not as popular as you think in the UK. We're very much into like the gritty black and white type imagery and story driven stuff like that. And the Turtles went, okay, these guys struck up themselves, did a book by themselves, and I always wanted to see if I could do it. And it took me a long time to get to this point with Let's Go Monsters, but I always think that basically I would have been doing and drawing and writing regardless, and probably posting it for free up on stuff like Webtoons or even into my social channels. So it's basically just a web comic, just to see if people like my stories. In fact, I did do a series of web comic strips back in 2014 called Unconditional Hugs, which was an adventures of a teddy bear and his boy, which is absolutely nothing to do inspired at all by Calvin Hobbes at all.
You make kind of an interesting point, and there's an interesting point there, and I want to ask you guys. So we got 3 comic makers in this room,
sure,
and none of us are making superhero books. Is that correct? You are kind of, Jason?
I think Jason probably is.
I get a little bit more of a sci-fi vibe.
Necroman is a zombie superhero, and it would actually be the page that I'm.
Yeah, hold it up, brother. I'm going to give you a solo.
So I'm sequentialing a page right now.
Nice.
Of Necroman, who is a zombie superhero. So here's issues 2 and 3, but it's sort of like a
hero book. Yeah. All right. Cool.
This book is certainly not a superhero.
How many faces on that page, Jason? How many faces on that page you just showed us? How many heads?
55.
Ooh, last time we talked, it was like 50. So good blimey. So,
I'm pretty excited to hear more about that one. That's going to be coming out this weekend at the Four State Comic-Con in Hagerstown, Maryland. That's Major Tom versus the Spiders from Mars. Great cover here, man.
Thank you, sir. It
Yeah.
was my buddy Chad Bruce. The character Major Tom is actually the mascot for Wham Comics. So I just basically used the mascot of Wham Comics and gave him the name of Major Tom and put him on a little journey. You were saying something about music earlier. I was actually inspired by David Bowie. I was just listening to music and then fell into the rabbit hole when I was drawing the first piece that I did of Major Tom, who would be the Wham mascot. So then I fell into the rabbit hole and I fell deep, right? I went into all the David Bowie albums and then I was like, I should do a freaking story. And instead of calling him Wham, the astronaut, I should call him Major Tom and make him fight spiders from Mars. And I was off. It was just, yeah, I mean, inspiration and imagination when they run together, it's like strapping yourself to a rocket and holding on. You had said do books, right? Like you're not going to stop. It's the best addiction ever is doing books.
Yeah, once you get on, it's hard to get off. And
You'll
friendly
never get
reminder, the first 50 customers are going to receive this awesome collectible gift over at Jason's booth. Jason, tell us one more time about the spider.
The spiders are 3D printed. And they're fully articulated. This is the big one that I have that I'll have at my table, but the ones we're giving out, so this is 300 the size. This is actually the size we're giving out, and it's fully articulated and it's fantastic. I was just thinking of ways to create some marketing and some merchandise for the spiders, or Major Tom versus the Spiders from Mars. So actually in development, we have the helmet being developed right now, but these spiders were just so much fun. Like, how can you not enjoy these spiders? You know, it just, sometimes shit lines up. And this is just one of those moments where we found a perfect merchandising little kick.
I think it's a great idea, and I wish you every success with it. So, guys, we are just about to our time, so I'm going to give you the last word here. If you're just tuning in, of course, I'm here tonight, and I'm shilling for the Four State Comic-Con. This is one of the coolest conventions out there. That's Saturday and Sunday this week. I hope you guys can make it to Hagerstown, Maryland. Nick, what's your closing words for the viewers?
Come out to Four State Comic-Con and check out all the great creators here. Pick up Jason's book, pick up my book, pick up your book. Take a chance on some indie comics and support the great storytelling that's out there. And of course, yes, please pick up my Let's Hunt Monsters comic book here. You will enjoy how to describe it? It's basically the comic book of a teddy bear where it hits things with a baseball bat until they stop moving. That's probably a good way to describe that. But it's
really a lot of fun. I think you've done a terrific job, Nick.
It's gonna fall, but no. Because come on out. I encourage everybody to come out. If comic books are not your thing, there's a lot of pop culture stuff going out there. Check out the cosplays, check out the panels, go check out the vehicles that are going to be at Four State as well. It's a great time to basically immerse yourself with basically people that are basically into the same shit that you're into. And it's a great time to be comfortable about that kind of stuff. But I always encourage people that come out to these shows to basically pick up some indie comic books. Those guys who sit in Artist Alley, those guys you see around the end, those guys are trying to basically or drawing or trying to sell you a comic book that doesn't have a superhero in it that you recognize or characters that you recognize. Go take a chance on that story because I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. I took a chance on Waterworld from Tim and Ed. I absolutely love the series. I'm actually going to pick up your next book when I'm actually at this show with you. I've basically took a chance on some on Jason's bits and pieces, the Jimmy Bob John thing. I finally think I got that right. I actually really enjoyed that, and I'm actually really looking forward to getting my hands on the Major Tom because the artwork in there is so Mobius.
It's killer, man.
I love it.
The colors it's like watching an explosion, those colors.
Absolutely
Jason,
amazing.
What's your last words for the viewers, Mr. Jason Stowe?
Come out and see us at Four State Comic-Con. Conventions are great. You know, that's really where artists, people get to meet fans and other creators. It's really just about the culture and the acceptance that you get from everybody around you. It's absolutely amazing. I know a lot of us, focus on our work, and we're not extroverted. We're more introverted, but we're allowed to be extroverted at these places, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's one of my favorite things is talking to fans and meeting people because we don't get to do that at our tables. We're all like hunkered down drawing. So it's a good time.
Good times.
I want just to tailgate on that in a second and just say, don't be afraid to come and speak to us. Okay.
you
We're
go.
not. We may actually just say, mention a book, but basically, if you don't want to buy the book, we're not going to get offended. But if you want to come and talk to us about basically how to get started in the comic books, that sort of thing, we'll certainly basically give you a little bit of advice and some of our experience along the way, because we're all at that level. We're learning new things ourselves and trying to figure out what our next steps will be as well. So don't be shy to come speak to us. None of us bite. Well, I'm not sure about Jason, but I definitely don't. So.
Parts unknown, buddy.
Parts unknown.
Parts unknown.
Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on this special episode. Again, we are promoting for the 4-State Comic-Con. That'll be Saturday and Sunday this weekend in Hagerstown, Maryland. I hope you guys will come and visit us. And thanks again for watching. See you guys in Hagerstown. Good night,
See you in
everybody.
Hagerstown. Bye-bye-bye.